So good morning, everyone, and welcome to this first 2026 Q&A clinic for Substance Organization Referentials Management Services. My name is Caterina Scarpati, and I'm working on change management support for the sport services. And today with me, I have Pedro Batista, Deborah Martins Braga, and Jaume Gonzalez, and Marcos Fernandez Gomez, who are the experts for sport services and will be here to answer live your questions for the next hour. So before we start, just some housekeeping notes. Please note, first of all, that this session is being recorded and the recording will be made available through the EMA corporate website on the event page and via EMA YouTube channel. You will be able to ask your questions or provide feedback via the audience interaction tool Slido. Please note that the interaction via Slido is voluntary and you may opt to remain anonymous. And if you choose to use Slido, you consent to the processing of your personal data. So to join Slido, you can either go to slido.com and insert the code SORQA1301, or you can simply scan the QR code that you see in the slide here. Once you are in Slido, you can send your individual question, or you can look at the questions that were already asked and via thumbs up, upvote the questions that you want to hear answered first. Please, it's recommended that you first check the asked questions before you send your individual one, because we will answer questions in order of upvotes. So the questions with more upvotes will be answered first. Finally, just a recap of the scope of this session. So as I have mentioned, this is an SOR Q&A clinic. So we will address live the questions on the following topics. So OMS, RMS, and SMS services questions, as well as general sport questions. While if you have any questions related to the PMS service or XCVMPD, there are dedicated live Q&A sessions where you can where you can ask your questions on these services to the relevant colleagues. And here you can see a recap of the planned Q&A clinics for this year for the free series. So today we are in the SOR Q&A clinic. We have already set the monthly sessions up to May 2026, and registration is already available on EMA website. Same for PMS clinics. So from this year, since we noticed last year that some of you sometimes in SOR clinics had questions on PMS, for you to be able to ask quickly your any PMS question you may have, we will have PMS Q&A clinic on the same day of the SOR clinics. So if you have any question regarding PMS, please note that you can join the session this afternoon from 15 to 16, and registration is available on WebEx for this session as well. While for the XCVMPD clinics, they will usually take place in the same week of the month of the SOR and PMS clinics, just a couple of days later, more or less. We also would like to remind you of the quarterly SPOR and XCVMPD status update webinars, which have already been set up for the full year, and registration is already accessible for all the 4 sessions on the event pages that you can find on EMA website. Next session will take place on the 28th of January. So before we dive into our questions, just a reminder that our SPOR and XCVMPD customer satisfaction survey is continuously available, and this edition will close on the 8th of March 2026. Then we'll have a pause of a month and we'll launch a new survey again during the 13th of April SPOR's and XCVMPD status update webinar. Okay, without further ado, let's go to our questions. First one is on RMS. When the RMS list for storage and shelf life and material will be reviewed?
Yes, shelf life and material, we identified experts in the last quarter of last year. We have now the final list of experts who will be involved in the review, and the review is planned to start this month, and the aim is to finalize by the end of Q1. So hopefully by end of March, we should have the reviewed lists.
Okay, thank you. We notified organizations available in SPOR OMS are not displayed in PLM EAF manufacturer lists. Can you please let us know when this synchronization issue is resolved? Should applicants consider opening an EMA ticket when data between PLM EAF and SPOR OMS are not aligned? Deborah, I guess this is for you.
Not exactly. I don't know.
Yeah, it's also
because
the
data is available in OMS, but it's not available in the consuming system. So the consuming system needs to investigate why is this happening. So answering your second question, yes, please open a ticket to report any finding you encounter about this discrepancy.
Okay, so the advice is to open a ticket whenever you experience such issues. Okay, next one. Section 2.14 of the Q&A on variations states that a new site for physical importation doesn't need to be recorded, yet the terms remain in RMS. Will it be marked non-current, or how should we handle it?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not aware of this section 2.14, but the fact remains that this term, which I assume is from the manufacturing activities, might be needed for other regulatory purposes. So I'm not aware of any need or intention to make this term non-current. So I guess if this term is not needed for these variation purposes, then it's just a matter of not selecting it, and that should be it. If this doesn't address the concern, I would also suggest for the person to raise a request, maybe provide more details or more context, and we will look into this. But as far as I'm concerned, from the RMS point of view, it's not because the term is not needed that it should be made non-current, because non-current basically means that that term is obsolete, and I don't think that's the case for other regulatory purposes.
Okay, thank you. Next, if the authorized pharmaceutical form in XCVMPD is granules for oral solution in sachet, according to D1 XCVMPD RMS EDQM pharmaceutical dose form terms mapping version 2, it should be reflected in PMS as granules for oral solution. Is that right? Could we check now?
This sounds like a question for PMS, so perhaps we can check later with PMS colleagues.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I will copy at this point this question for the in the afternoon Slido. Okay. So so PMS colleagues can answer that. Next, where can we find the test cases that we need to complete for the SMS API testing?
Morning. So there's no test cases for the SMS API access. So the instructions are available in the SMS guidance for external users, which itself is available in the Sport portal, but there's no test cases like for OMS and RMS for the SMS API.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. How far can MAHs delegate OMS and RMS activities to third parties? Jaume or Deborah?
Yeah, we were discussing this one earlier as we saw it written in the chat. As far as we are concerned, we don't give any recommendations or instructions as to what activities MAHs should delegate. Yeah. So as far as we are concerned, we don't have any. We don't impose any restrictions. So MAHs are free to delegate the activities that they want. If this refers to actual change requests for OMS and RMS, as far as the person has an EMA account so that they can submit that change request, that is fine. So that's our interpretation of the question. Perhaps the person can elaborate if this is not what they were referring to.
Thank you. Please note the term 10000160467 manufacturing of active substance is not having the other name in B2 is actually mentioned.
Okay, so thanks for pointing this to us. So this looks like the other name for this term is missing. Catherine, is there any way I can see this question after the webinar, because I'll check this and update the list if needed,
definitely.
because I think it's the case. Perfect, thank you. So thanks for pointing
so
this to us.
We'll keep the Slido open, so you can reply in the Slido directly.
Thank
you. We can say how many can we say by the end of the week they can find an answer in the Slido. Okay.
For sure, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Next one, we want to access SMS production API, and we have followed the SMS guidance for external users instructions. We opened a ServiceNow ticket to get access to SMS API UAT to perform the tests, but we were informed that access is not allowed. How to get access to SMS Prod API if access to SMS UAT is not allowed?
It's the same answer as the previous question, so there is no need to get access to SMS API UAT. Access can be granted directly to SMS API production.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this one. In cases where the organization acts as both manufacturer and MAH, and there is a postal code discrepancy between SPOR OMS PISMPC Module 3 and the GMP certificate, with a GMP certificate aligned to SPOR OMS while other documents are not, do you recommend aligning Module 3 with SPOR OMS GMP?
One second. Let me reread the question.
Yeah.
So for now, the use of OMS data is not mandatory on any documentation the company uses. So it's if you wish to have this information in align with the OMS data, there's nothing against you to do that update. However, we also understand that to do those updates, there are costs involved. So that's why we don't demand this update to take place. There is no mandate for this to happen. It's up for now. It's up to the company to know. You are free to decide whatever you want to use. Just bear in mind that in OMS we will have some information, and in your documentation you may have the same data, slightly different.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Next, does the RMS term importation of intermediate which undergoes further processing means importing a finished product for packaging or an unfinished intermediate for further processing?
Yeah, so I checked the definition in RMS and it says importing semi-finished products that will be further processed to create the final medicinal product. So my understanding is not finished, but unfinished. That's my interpretation of the definition.
Okay. Thank you. SMS question. Can data enrichment for active pharmaceutical ingredients already be made for traditional herbal medicinal products within the SPOR substance framework? And is there a guideline available?
If I understand this question, so from a substance point of view, the herbal substances, so the plants, the whole plants and plant parts, they have already been cleansed by the substance validation group. And at the moment, the only data enrichment that is being performed by SMS data stewards is registering new herbal substances based on the European Pharmacopoeia. So 3 times per year, there is a new supplement in the Pharmacopoeia. And if there's new herbals that are not yet in SMS, we do register them at that stage. So that's the only data enrichment being done at herbals. Data cleansing itself is completed for the plants, but is not started for the extracts. So if this person can clarify the question, if I didn't address it, then I later in the session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next, the manufacturer produces the starting material for the active substance. Which SPOR term should be selected in the PMS for the MBO enrichment activity? I guess this is for this afternoon, right?
I think it is. I think it's a mix of RMS and PMS, but yeah, I'm not able to provide an answer on this now. I would have to look into the definitions of the activities. So yeah, perhaps try in the afternoon. If not, we can take it offline.
Okay. Then we submitted a ticket about adding the apheresis material cryopreservation function in RMS, but haven't received a response yet.
So I'll also check online because yeah, I need to see the exact details. I don't know when this was submitted. I need to see if the SLAs have been missed, and I haven't personally been working on this ticket. So if that's okay, let's check offline after the webinar, and we can follow up with the person. Perhaps it would be good to, I mean, the question is anonymous. It would be good that maybe if the person could contact me directly so that we can follow up. If they have the request number, that would be ideal. Otherwise, I'll look into this.
Yeah, so maybe to the person who has the question, if you can comment on the question you submitted and you add the ticket number, so it's easier for us to retrieve it.
Yes, please.
Okay. OMS question. When should an organization linked to an old MAH address be inactivated in OMS? Immediately after adding the new location in OMS or only once all products in PMS user interface are linked to the organization with a new address, and there is no product anymore linked to the old MAH address in PMS user interface?
No. So as soon as you know that a certain organization has ceased to exist or a certain physical location is no longer being used by a legal entity, you should notify OMS about this change so that we can update our dictionary. Any changes to PMS or to other procedures need to occur after. So remember that if one record is inactivated in OMS, we will not revert this in case updates need to be done afterwards. So OMS will have the same that the National Business Registry reflects, or we will have locations that are currently being used by the legal entity. And any updates will have to be liaised directly in PMS or in other consuming systems. And especially for PMS, I believe you are able to update the information when, even if the record is inactivated. But to have a better answer and a more with a specialist, I would advise you to confirm this in the afternoon.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have to insert in PLM the MBO physical importation if it is currently available in M3? This is also for this afternoon, I guess, unless you have any insights on the SOR.
I would say so, yes.
Okay. Yes, so just as a reminder, I will copy paste all these questions that we've flagged for this afternoon in the Slido for this afternoon. So you can expect that they will be answered there. Okay. Then we have this question, which seems a mix of RMS and PMS. So are the two new terms in the manufacturing activity RMS list in scope of PMS submission?
If I remember correctly, and I don't have the list in front of me, the two new terms that were added were a result of, they were created as a result of requests received in the past. So it was not necessarily linked to PMS, but it was just request need for new terminology that was not implemented and which was considered by the experts as needed at this point. So it hasn't really been as a result of discussions with PMS colleagues, but rather because given that we received several requests for the same terms and the experts thought that those terms were needed, they were added.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. We don't need to submit manufacturers for starting materials. Is that correct?
Okay, so this one is best to check with inspections colleagues, but I've seen, I have here in my notes, I've seen it says it's not required to register in Module 3 manufacturers or suppliers of active substance starting materials, reagents, or excipients. So perhaps best to double check with inspections colleagues, but my assumption is that's correct. It's not needed.
Okay. What is the status of the SVG flagging for SMS?
So currently, about 50% of the substances are cleansed. So they have SVG flag 1 or 0. So there's still about 50% of the substances left to be cleansed. And further updates on this topic with the plans for the next classes will be given in the next SPAR webinar.
Thank you. Which, as a reminder, is taking place on 28th of January at 10. Are the substance available in download SMS export synchronized with EAF?
So the substances available in the export, they are synchronized with SMS itself, and the EAF is also synchronized with the EAF, with SMS itself. So the export is refreshed once a day, while the EAF is refreshed almost every minute. So the EAF will be always slightly more up to date, but you can always see the next version of the export in the following day. So they are not synchronized, but they are aligned.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next one. When will the term desiccant come in an RMS list? I think it should be in list 1000000073346 packaging.
So if there's a need for this term or for the same purpose for any other terms in whatever list, you already know the drill. Please submit a change request, providing justification, supporting documentation, etc., and we will review the request. In this case, we would be liaising with the DQM. So please feel free to raise a request, and we will look into this.
Okay. Thank you. OMS. When will version history functionality be available again?
Not sure what version history functionality. Can I ask you to please write a comment to clarify exactly what are you looking?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, okay, I'll check their comments. Okay, so we have another OMS one. OMS export does not show old name of organization if changed. This was said that it is due to a system bug. Has this been resolved?
The bug that I believe the bug that you're referring here is a bug on the merge process. When we do the merge, the old name is not, we've identified that the old name is not always maintained as part of the history. When we do a simple name update, this is still there. But answering your question, no, the bug has not been addressed yet. But if we're talking on a simple name update, this information will be available in the export.
Okay, thank you. For one package level MA number, for example, in France, with two packaging materials possible defined, for example, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottle in aluminum or steel, should it remain one PRD with a described description or two PRD, so one bottle aluminum, one bottle steel, in the context of PMS? Still for this afternoon?
Yes, so PMS.
Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's see, meanwhile, if we have a comment for the question on version history. Not yet. So aside from these questions, which we will either address in writing or address in this afternoon question, in this afternoon's Q&A clinic for PMS. We don't have new questions. Yes. Oh, yeah, now yes. RMS list. For the bioequivalence contract research organization, which of the below study sites can be mapped, or maybe we need to report all three? So and then we have a ticket number of 1 month ago as a reference. And the study sites are CRO bioanalytical study site, CRO clinical study site, CRO PK and statistical analysis.
But this should be for inspections. It's good that we have the ticket number. We'll look into this because it might be that it hasn't been. Sometimes it takes a while until the ticket reaches the correct team. So we should look into the ticket. Let's check offline and see if this has been directed to the right team, which should be inspections. So we'll look into this. And apologies then if the person has been waiting for a while on this, but yeah, I don't think it has reached us. It should be for inspections, so we'll follow up on that.
Okay, let's follow up directly in the ticket. Okay. Then, new question. What are the supporting documents first addressing an RMS change request? For addressing an RMS change request, sorry.
So the recommendation is to look into the list information document of the relevant list for which request is needed. And there should be guidance there on what are the documents expected. So we cannot give a quick answer on this because we have more than 200 lists, and each list it might be a different thing. So the advice is to go to the list information document and read the guidance on what should be submitted.
Okay. Thank you. When one PRD is updated, reception of a third acknowledgement, is it mandatory to update the other PRD related to the same medicinal product?
This one is probably for this afternoon, I would say.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Then we have, can I send the PDF of a variation guideline where it is stated that the physical importation site doesn't need to be registered?
I'm not too sure I understand the question.
Could you please clarify with a comment?
It's probably, I think there was a question earlier saying if physical importation had to be registered, and this is to confirm that it doesn't need to. This is probably what this is referring to, but yeah, maybe if the person could clarify, because I'm not too sure if this is a question for us.
Yeah. Okay. So checking the questions. Yeah, we are still. If the person who asked the question on OMS expert for functionality is still in the session, if you can please comment and provide any clarification on the exact scope of the question.
No, this one is a different one, I believe, Katerina. When will OMS export functionality?
No, it's the one we checked earlier. It's the one we checked earlier, and we
the one we checked earlier was OMS. When will version history?
Sorry,
be available again?
Right, it's version. Right. Okay, so new one. When will OMS export functionality be available again?
So we are working in this as we speak. We are aiming to have this available in the current quarter. We don't know exactly the week or the month, but we are aiming to open this again during the current quarter.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, then just a comment. Raising change requests via Sport Portal was very user-friendly compared to Service Desk. Is there any change regarding this in plan?
Yeah, maybe I'll take this one. There are no plans, as far as I'm aware, of changing this, and this is with the aim to harmonize the ticketing services within EMA. So it is no changes planned.
Okay. Thank you. Then, how to proceed if a substance is not available in EAF after it has been added to the SMS?
So after a new substance is registered in SMS, it should be available in the EAF within a few minutes. It is possible that the substance is not in the EAF because it has SVG flag 0. So if a substance is considered a duplicate or is an invalid substance, then it will not be available in the EAF on purpose. And in that case, you should create a ticket asking which substance should be used instead. But if it is a new substance, then it should be available in the EAF very soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Katerina, on the previous version, on the PDF of the variation guideline, the person has now clarified that indeed they wanted to provide the guideline where apparently it's confirmed that there's no need to register the physical importation. So it's been clarified in there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Next one. Can one find all the Medra coding in RMS list? Would it be available in the future?
Yes, indeed. The Medra codes are available within the Medra list in RMS. So all terms in the Medra list in RMS have an RMS ID. And then if you drill down into the term details, you will see under each term the Medra ID. And if I'm not mistaken, you can even search by Medra ID within RMS. So the short answer is yes, those codes are there, and the plan is to keep updating. Keep maintaining the list in RMS for the foreseeable future. So yes, it should always be available there.
Okay. Thank you. Then for OMS, why was the OMS chain request system moved to VMA Service Desk? Is the same SLA in place as the one made through the Sport Portal?
So this is what Jaume already mentioned. So this move happened in order to improve the user experience and to have everything in one single platform, not to have two gates, one for questions and another for change requests. That's why this move took place. The SLA, we're trying to comply with the SLA that we have defined for the past years. Although because it's a new system and we have a new team helping us, at the beginning we've seen a decrease of this SLA, but we believe we'll be able to come back to it in short time.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, we have a new one. Is RMS API access also available for MedraList? If not, how to get the Medra spore IDs to be able to map them in our internal system?
I haven't checked this personally, but in principle, the MedraList can be queried through the RMS API, so you should be able to get the Medra IDs. So indeed, that would be a way to get those Medra IDs. Yeah, so please feel free to try this, and please reach out to us if you encounter any issues.
Okay. Thank you.
So maybe just one final thing, just to clarify, what cannot be done is to export the full MedraList, and that's because of copyright issues. The Medra belongs to MSSO. EMA is not the owner of the MedraList, so if a full export of the MedraList is needed, then MSSO should be contacted directly. Now, like I said, the list can be browsed within RMS, and the Medra IDs and the RMS IDs are visible there, and they can also be queried through the API. So hopefully that should be the way forward.
Okay. Thank you. So we don't have new questions at the moment. I'll just flag this question again for the version history functionality. So there's no comment yet. Yeah, just to remind you, in order to provide you with a proper reply, we would need you to clarify your request. Thank you. And meanwhile, we got a new question. What if it takes time to clarify things about OMS, RMS with Service Desk while having a priority of submitting product records via the PMS user interface or API?
I think this one, at least from the OMS, and then I'll pass to Jaume to probably complete in terms of RMS. Remember that the OMS is in place for the past almost 10 years, 9 years now, and you need to ensure that the data is available for before you submit any change through PMS or any other regulatory system. You need to account, since OMS went live and all these systems start consuming OMS on a mandatory basis, you need to account for the submission time and to ensure that the data that we have there is in time for your regulatory procedure. So your clock, when you're organizing your calendar, your clock cannot start with the deadline for your submission. You need to allow some time prior to this to ensure that the data that you have in OMS is exactly what you need in regulatory procedures, not only here for PMS. I hope this addressed the question on the OMS side.
Okay.
For RMS, I would say exactly the same. Yeah, please allow enough time to, in case there's any need for new terminology or whatever. And maybe the only thing that I can add, I mean, Service Desk was mentioned. Maybe a thing that can help sometimes is to, at the beginning of the message, to specify that should be assigned to the RMS team or to the OMS team. You never know, that might, help the ticket reaches faster. So yeah, that's really the only thing I have to add to this.
Thank you. Okay, so we have an SMS one. What should I do if a substance listed in SMS has no flag?
Yes, so this means that the substance has not yet been cleansed by the substance validation group, and as of now about 50% of the substances are in these circumstances. So this means that the substance can be used in any regulatory procedure, any application, any system, but once it will be cleansed in the future, there is the possibility that it will get SVG flag 0 and that it will not be recommended to use, but it will most likely get SVG flag 1 and will be able to use. However, we cannot forecast at this stage what will be the outcome. So for now, they can be used without any special restrictions.
Thank you. So no new questions at the moment. And meanwhile, just to flag to you that I've, as usual, opened our feedback survey. So you can find it on Slido. It's the usual couple of questions, just a quick rating question to let us know how useful was this session from 1 to 10 to answering your questions on SOR. And then you have an open text field for any feedback or suggestion that you may want to leave us. We always read out your comments and we try to implement most frequent suggestions in the preparation of future engagement activity. So thank you very much in advance. And okay, our third acknowledgements relevant for the PMS update. I guess that's for this afternoon as well. So I will note that down. Okay. So no new questions at the moment, but we still have 12 minutes where the SOR colleagues will be available for you to answer to any SMS, OMS, or RMS question live. Meanwhile, I see some of you are leaving your feedback. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have a recording question, so I can answer this one. So the question is, could recordings from these Q&A sessions be available within 1 week? 60 days is a bit too long. So so let's say 60 days is the maximum possible time that our audiovisual team could take in editing and uploading the sessions. Fortunately, we never reached 60 days, but at the same time, we cannot guarantee 1 week. So this is why we have, we have this disclaimer that recording upload may take up to 60 days. Of course, for example, the recording from the December session took a bit longer than usual because there were the Christmas holidays in between. But I can say that 1 maximum 2 weeks, you should be able to find your recording usually on average. So we put the 60 days, let's say, it's the formal maximum time, but it never takes 60 days, fortunately. Okay. SMS and RMS update. Does it affect non-EU product information?
At least talking for RMS, I mean, we are working within the remit of the EU. So in principle, the terminology that we have within RMS is to be used within EU legislation.
For SMS, so the
Okay.
same general principle apply, but we do register substances that are not approved in EU products. So they might be under development in the EU and already approved outside the EU, or they might not be approved anywhere. So we do register substances for other activities, not necessarily EU approved.
Okay, thank you. Okay, again, no new questions at the moment. For RMS, what to do if a needed ATC classification is not to be found in the RMS list, Anatomical Therapeutic Chemical Classification System, human?
They need to submit a change request, ask for any terminology that is needed for RMS. In this case, the user should first check the ATC list from WHO and see if that term is already there, either as final or as provisional. But even if it's not there, anyway, the request is needed. We need a request within so for RMS.
Thank you. A packaging is defined by a composite material in the SMPC. Material A and B are listed in RMS list. Should a composite material, which is a layer in A and layer in B, be added to RMS?
Yeah, I would have to check the list information document, but I'm almost sure that there's one of the principles there that says that we're not registering combinations of already existing terms, and we are rather just recording the individual terms.
Okay. Thank you. How often is data publication list of EMA updated?
Not sure I understand this question. That's yeah, I would need more clarifications. Maybe I don't know if any of my colleagues understand the question. I personally don't. I don't know if this means how often publication date of lists is updated. I'm not sure. If the person could clarify, please. Does it mean how often do we review lists?
I'm checking.
And if that's the question, if the question is how often are lists in RMS updated, then the answer is it depends. Some lists are updated on a daily basis, some others on a monthly basis, some others haven't been updated
The user
for
said
a long time.
yes. Yeah, they that's what they meant. So, yeah.
So frequency of list updates, yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah, so like I said, we have, I think, more than 220 lists. It varies. Some lists, like the EDQM lists, they are automatically synchronized with EDQM. So changes might be on a daily or weekly basis or monthly basis. Some others receive very, very few changes. So, but if the user has concerns on any specific list, then yeah, please feel free to reach us and we can provide more specific answers.
Thank you. Yeah, yep. No further questions for now. We still have 4 minutes. So if anyone has a last minute question, please. And please note that we will indeed provide answers, so follow up with the questions that on which we commented. We'll follow up in writing. So yeah, please come back to the Slido by end of the week, and you'll find the written answer. While for the ones where we commented, we will reserve them for this afternoon. You can either join this afternoon or then check later the recording for the PMS Q&A clinic. And just to say that, again, since, as I mentioned, we check your feedback and we always try to improve these sessions, we will publish the Slidos a bit in advance for the next sessions, just to understand if it's more useful to you, also, for you also to be able to note down your question before the actual session. The Slido connection links will be available soon in the Q&A clinic event pages for the next month. Oh, I see that. Okay. For the OMS version history question, the user said it was clarified for them, so perfect. Okay, so I guess we won't have any further questions for today. So for SOR, I invite you to join the next session in February. And as said, you can already register on the EMA event page. And then just as a reminder, on the 28th of January, we have the first quarterly SPORE and XCV-MPD status update webinar. So I really recommend to you to join the session because it would be really useful for you to understand what's going on for all the SPORE and XCV-MPD services and what is planned for the next quarter. And thank you very much again for leaving your feedback. And thank you to Pedro, Jaume, and Deborah for being present and reply to all the questions live. And as said, we'll follow up with the with written answers with the open questions. And yes, thank you again, and wish you all a nice rest of the day. And Deborah, Pedro, and Jaume, please, if you want to also add anything, feel free.